طيب بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. First of all, I'd like to welcome you all in this additional session regarding installation of the Jupyter notebook environment that inshallah we will be using during the semester. So did everybody in the room install Anaconda, and Anaconda is now installed and ready?
Yes, I did.
Right. So let me share my whole desktop. Okay. And I just, by the way, I just installed Anaconda. Just finished installing. So let me first go to the Jupyter installation guide that I sent you. So basically we are done with the first kind of 4 steps, right? So or maybe the first 3 steps. We installed the Anaconda environment, and now if we go to 1.4, step 4, it says here, after the installation process is finished, in the start menu search bar, type Anaconda. You will find that many Anaconda related tools are installed as shown below. So when I go here to the search bar and if I type Anaconda, we will see that there is a spider, there is the Anaconda Navigator, and the Anaconda prompt, right? So make sure you keep an eye on these two. These are maybe the most that we are going to use. But so it says here, launch the Anaconda Navigator tool. It's a desktop GUI that comes with Anaconda. It makes it easy to launch applications and manage packages. So let's launch Anaconda Navigator. So if I type Anaconda here, and this is the Navigator, and if I run it, okay. So it's coming.
دكتور
Yes.
دكتور أنا سويت تنزيل لكن إلى الآن ما تنزل. تو معلق هو اللي يطول.
لا بيطول شوي.
أنا مثله يا دكتور، وصل لمرحلة بعدها وقف.
هو ما وقف لكن بيطول شوي.
طيب دكتور،
نعم.
أحط all users، حطيت يعني مستخدم واحد، ما حطيت كل المستخدمين عادي؟
If you are the only user of your laptop or desktop, I think putting it for a single user is fine.
طيب لو غيرت اللابتوب أقدر أنقله ولا شلون؟
لا، إذا غيرت اللابتوب معناته you need to run the installation process again. تمام. Okay. So this is where we are now. And so now it says launch Jupyter Notebook and start writing Python programs. So if we go to the Anaconda Navigator, this is the Anaconda Navigator. And you see here, this is Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so when you say launch, this is basically running. And as you can see, it has just opened the browser page. So this is basically Jupyter. And if you check here, I think this is the your default directory. Well, let me show you here. Where is this? So if we go to let me go to where is this PC. So if I go to C and then users and then WASP. So if I go to C and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then WASP, and then C, and then users and then W as you can see, 3D objects, Anaconda 3, contacts, desktop, document, download. So we are basically here. Okay, we are basically. Okay, so let's go back to the. Well, maybe before going back to the installation, let me come here. When we have Anaconda, there is Anaconda prompt. I can also start Jupyter Notebook from the Anaconda prompt. How can I do that? Well, if you press on Anaconda prompt, you will have here this, which looks like the CMD in Windows, but it's not, the same as CMD. And you just type Jupyter Notebook. If you do that, it will basically open another browser with the Jupyter Notebook. To me, I prefer using this method because it will be faster. It's faster than having the Anaconda Navigator start. Okay, but we'll do that later. Okay, we will do that later. So let's wait. Right. Okay, so we launched the Jupyter Notebook, and now we can, of course, start writing our Python. We can start writing our Python programs by, starting a new or creating a new notebook, and in that notebook we can basically start writing. We can start writing. Right. Okay. Now where do I want to go to? So let's come here. Now we would like to install Rise. Now, what is Rise? Well, do you remember in the first lecture when I started my presentation, I started Jupyter Notebook, and then it became like a PowerPoint presentation, but it was inside the browser. Well, Rise is the thing that enables it to look like this, right? So Rise is an extension that allows you to display lecture and lab notebook cells as a presentation on the web browser. Okay, as a presentation on the web browser. To install it, follow the following instructions. So let's now go over the instructions. Before I continue, do we have any Mac users with us? If somebody is using a Mac, raise his hand. Inshallah, all of you are Windows users, huh? Right, that's okay. I wish if we had a Mac user, maybe we will also check the instructions also for Mac users. But anyways, that's fine. Right. So now on Windows, تفضل.
أنا أستخدم ماك.
Oh, okay. You're using Mac. So,
yes.
So now what we will do is for the Windows, I will do what I did before. Go to the search, type Anaconda, look for Anaconda prompt, and start Anaconda prompt. Now, in case of a Mac user, you just open a terminal. Okay, you just open a terminal on Mac. Tamam? Okay, so now whether you are under terminal in Mac or whether here under Windows, type the following command. Basically, conda install -c conda forge Rise. Okay, so I will say Control C. I will come here and Control V. Okay, and then I'll press Enter, and we hope that things will go smooth. So let's see. Okay. So it's running, and it is hopefully installed. Okay, in the instructions, it actually mentions, that we will see something like this towards the end. Okay, so let's see. The Mac user, are you getting something similar to what I'm getting?
إيه نفس التيرمينال نفس اللي عندكم هذا.
ممتاز. So now proceed. Now, if you see here, there's yes between brackets, which means that this is the default. And in this case, we just follow the default. I haven't mentioned it here, but anyways, so I will just press enter, which means to proceed, yes. Okay. Usually, in these installations, you just follow the default, the default options. So let's see. Okay, so now we are done, right? So we are done with 2.2. So now it says, shut down the current Jupyter session and restart it so that the rise button will appear on an open Jupyter notebook. Right. Let's see our current Jupyter notebook. You see here, this is our current Jupyter notebook. You don't see here any button for rise, right? The button for rise will not be here, will be somewhere else. Right. So let's try to look for it. Now I don't have any I don't have any notebook open. So let me go and copy a notebook, because my notebooks are in D. If you look at my directory structure, this is the current directory where Jupyter is pointing, right? And let me show you where are my files. If I open a new one here, my files are basically in D. So if I go up this PC, E, I mean E. If I go to E, Dropbox, and then classes, 104, 202, lecture slides. So this is basically my first set of lectures. It's basically here, right? So just for the purposes of demonstration, let me just copy, this one, Control C. Let me copy it here under WASP so that it will appear under Jupyter. Okay. So now it's copied here. Now let's come here. Now as you can see, after the page refreshed, now we see the introduction. So if I go there, okay. In fact, the rise slideshow button is actually already showing. It seems you don't need to restart the Jupyter notebook. So it's there. If I press it, you can see now that I can view it as a presentation. But just to follow the instructions, let's do it. So let me leave this and let me quit from this one. Okay, so now server stopped. So now I can close it. And now, according to this, it says shut down and restart it. So let me show you how I will restart it from here. So from here, I will just type Jupyter Notebook. Now, once I type Jupyter Notebook, I don't have to wait until the whole Anaconda Navigator starts. It will just take me there immediately, right? And I will come here, and now I do have the rise button. Where is it? Yes, this is the rise button, and I can show it as slides. Now, notice here that when I showed it as slides, you see that there are some things that are down below, but I cannot see them. And the reason is some of the extensions that I need basically to install before I can do that. Okay, and so this basically explains, why do we need those extensions, right? Why do we need those? So these two lines were not, did not show under the presentation. Okay, so let's go back to my, to the instructions page, and let's continue with our instructions. Right. Okay. So the next set of instructions is basically installing NB extensions. Now, NB extensions is a graphical user interface that allows you to add and customize many extensions available to Jupyter. And here it's only one new, okay? So to install it, start a command prompt as follows. Again, well, if you're already have one on Mac, the terminal, or have one on Windows, you can basically use it, right? If not, then you need to start, okay? Right. So let's see. Do I have one? Well, this one is actually running the Jupyter notebook. The one that is this the one that yeah. See, Jupyter notebook. So it's running the Jupyter notebook server. So you don't want to come here because you don't see the prompt. Do I have another one? I don't have another one. So let's make another one. So I will come here, Anaconda. Well, this is the prompt. Let me open another prompt. Well, this is the other prompt. Okay. Now, let's see. Well, let's forget about this administrator thing. Let's try to do it without the administrator. Okay. So let us do it without the administrator. Control C. And then we'll go here, Control V. Hopefully it will work. If it doesn't work, we will start it as an administrator. How are things going, ya Shabab? Are you following me? Anybody has any problem so far? Hello?
Doctor, I want to ask you something. In the proceed comment, there is two letters, the Y letters and N letter.
Yes.
I enter Y letter and after that enter. Is that okay?
That's okay. It's the same as hitting enter without anything.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Right. Was that Abdul Majid?
No, it was me, Hanan al-Shumrani.
Oh, Abdul Majid, طيب, he's raising his hand. أيوة يا عبد المجيد, you're muted.
لا انا بس كنت بقول لك ان جهازي ماك ما عندي شيء يعني.
يعني it's okay.
Yeah.
Right, very good. Okay, so let's go back and see what's happening. Well, again, it's asking, proceed, yes or no. I'll just put the enter, which means yes. Okay, so I will do that. Okay, it's finalizing things. And hopefully you're going to be done very soon. Done. Okay, very good. So this command was successful. So after successfully executing this command, you will get messages as shown. Well, we already got messages as shown. Shut down the current Jupyter session and restart it so that the NB extensions button will appear. Well, let's see, maybe it's already appearing. Let's go to our browser and let's see. Now, the NB extensions button is going to appear here, okay? It should appear here, and as you can see, it's not appearing next to clusters, okay? So let's close everything. So let me close this. Running, so let me shut this down. And here, I will just say quit. So the server has, the Jupyter server has shut down. Now I can, press X, okay? Now I'll go back. I will go back here. See, remember, this is where we started Jupyter Notebook. And as you can see, once I stopped the server, it went back to the prompt. Okay, it went back to the prompt. So all that what I need to do is if I, press the upper arrow, it will give me the command again. I don't need to write it again. Jupyter Notebook. Okay, press Jupyter Notebook. And voila, now we see the NB extensions. Okay, so now the NB extensions is here. Are you following me? Do you all see the NB extensions appearing in your machines, ya shabab?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Very good. Very good. Fine. So let's continue. Let's go back to the installation instructions. So we installed, we launched Jupyter Notebook. Now a tab will appear, and we saw the tab and the extensions. Okay, so now here it says, check mark the following NB extensions as shown in the following figure. Basically, these are some extensions, and each extension has a specific, task, or it has a feature that adds to the Jupyter Notebook in general, or in fact, writes in specific, the presentation abilities in specific. So for example, Hinterland, it enables code auto-completion menu for every key press in a code cell. Inshallah, we will see that later when we write code. Sometimes, if I want to write print, if Hinterland is available, once I type PRI, it will suggest to me, to continue the command. Print. Okay, so we have to do this. Move selected cells. To move selected cells using keyboard shortcuts Alt up and Alt down. Basically, let's open the. So these are called cells in Jupyter Notebook. By the way, I'm going very quickly. I don't show, what do they do, because right now I'm really interested in just, getting the installation together. So these are basically called cells. In order to be able to move the cells using Alt up and Alt down, I need to enable that. Okay, I need to enable that. Let's continue. Scroll down, scrolls outputs down automatically. And then we have spell checker for the markdown cells. If you want to write your own notebook or your own presentation, it has spell checking capabilities. Split cells notebook enables split cells in Jupyter Notebook. If you want to put cells, next to each other in a row, we use the split cells. Most probably, you will not be using these. These things are for those who develop the notebook or the presentation. But it's good for you. It's good that you know them since we are already using the RISE or the presentation capabilities of Navigator. Okay, and then table of contents enables to collect all running headers and display them in a floating window as a sidebar or with a navigation menu, just like a table of content for the whole notebook. Okay, just like a table of content for the whole notebook. So let's mark them. Let's check mark them. So let's go to let's go here. Now this is the notebook. We need to come here. We need to come to where the server is, and we need to, NB extensions. Okay. Now, if you look at NB extensions, we cannot, add anything here. We need to uncheck this because this one says disable configuration without explicit compatibility. So now, if I press this, now I can change. Okay. So maybe I need to add this step because one of you has asked me. I need to add this step to my instructions manual. So let me say Control C, and I will come here, and I will say, where is it? Okay, so in order to be able to change to check mark those, what did we call them? Those will be extensions, let's say. Features we need to uncheck box next to, and then I will put, let me use the simplify. Okay. Let's make this italics. Okay. Yeah. So now I uncheck. Now I need to check, those features. Hinterland. Where is hinterland? It's, by the way, organized by alphabetically. So this is hinterland. So I will check it. What else do I need to check? We said hinterland. Move selected cells. Scroll down. Move selected cells. LM. Where is M? Move selected cells. This is the selected cells. Scroll down, spell checker. Scroll down. Where is scroll down? This is scroll down. And this, where is the spell checker? ST, spell checker. This is spell checker. Okay. And finally, split cells notebook. Split cells notebook. This is split cells notebook. And finally, the table of contents 2. Where is table of contents 2? This is table of contents 2. Okay. So now I have check mark all these. I have check mark all these features. Okay. I have check mark all these features. Right. We also now, and this is kind of the last step in setting up the environment, the things that we need to enable from Jupyter is to select the RISE extension in NB extensions, then go down and make sure the scroll is checkmarked as shown in the following figure. If you look at the figure, let me make it a little bit larger. This is basically scroll. We need to checkmark scroll. Okay. So how do we do that? Well, we go to RISE in NB extensions, and then we go down the properties of RISE. So let's go here. So where is RISE? This is RISE. So I will click on it once. Now I get, the RISE, and now I can go down and look for the scroll, right? And look down for the scroll. This is the scroll. Scroll, see reveal documentation. All what I need to do is just check mark scroll. Okay. So now after doing that, basically we are kind of done with the setup of the whole Jupyter environment. واضح يا شباب? Any question? Did you reach where I reached? The last one is kind of the most tricky part, and this is where all mistakes happen. So I want to make sure that you are done with everything before we do the last one. Okay. طيب يا شباب.
تمام دكتور.
تمام. كلكم وصلتوا للي انا وصلتوا ها؟
هنا.
طيب ممتاز. Okay. So now let me ask you. If I look at my directory structure, this is the directory structure. To tell you the truth, I would like Jupyter, to come, for example, well, at least to classes, to all my classes, right? And from here I can go to ICS 104 and whatever. Currently, what's happening is when I start Jupyter, where do I go to? Well, if I go to files here, I will go under C users list. So this is not what I want, where I want my thing to start. Now I don't know about you, but for example, some of you might have, or for example, might add, and let me do it for you just for illustration. Might add a new folder here in desktop, which is called ICS 104. How many plan to do this? How many plan to have a directory called ICS 104 in desktop, so that whenever you open the desktop, you can reach the files, whether they are homeworks or lecture notes or what have you. Can I see a raise of hands? How many would like to do that? You can actually do it anywhere in your laptop. Nobody is planning to put it under desktop. طيب, where do you want me? Let me ask you this. Shall I continue my explanation, putting it where I want, which is basically under E classes, or do you want me to show you, for example, under ICS 104 if you have a desktop? Let's do it on the desktop, okay? And I will change it later on to fit my requirements. But if I want to do it on here on ICS 104, if you click on it, and if you click here, this is the whole path. Okay, this is the whole path. Let me say Control C here, because we are now going to use it in the last step. Okay, so this is the path where ICS 104 is, and as you might guess, let me move the notebook that we created under Losfi here. Let's bring it here. Okay, let us bring it here. So now if I double click on ICS 104, now I can see the notebook. Okay, now I can see the notebook. So now the idea is when I open my Jupyter notebook, I would like to be here under ICS 104. Okay, so I would like to see all the files under ICS 104. Okay, once I start Jupyter notebook. Right now, I have to go to desktop. Right now, I have to click on desktop and then click on ICS 104 until I reach introduction. Okay, what I want is when I start, I want to be in ICS 104. Okay, I want to be in ICS 104. So how do I do that? Well, let's go back to the instructions. So the instructions say, so this is basically what we mean by changing the default directory for Jupyter. I want to change the default directory of Jupyter from the default, which is C users WASPI, to ICS 104 or whatever that path is under desktop ICS 104. Right. So when you start Jupyter Notebook, it will go to the default directory of your account. For example, C/users/username, in my case WASPI. In order to make it start from your ICS 104 directory, where you keep your Jupyter Notebooks, do the following. Again, start Anaconda or on Windows or Terminal on Mac. No need, to be an administrator. Right. Then type the following command: Jupyter Notebook -- generate config. Okay. So let's do Control C here, and let me open my notebook. Let's see which one is. This one is running the server. Let's keep it. Let's go to this one. So for this one, I'm going to say Control V, Jupyter Notebook, and then -- generate config. Okay. Now I press Enter. Okay. So writing default config to C users WASPI dot Jupyter Notebook config.py. So this file was created. Okay. So this file was created. Now in this case, it was created here in the Mac. The Mac user, did it say where was it created?
لا لسه ما وصلت للتب هذا.
لسه ما وصلت لها؟ طيب يلا وصلها.
إيه. اوكي.
Okay يا شباب. So this will write the file to C users username, in my case WASPI.Jupyter Notebook config.py. Oh, on Mac, well, it should be like this. By the way, on Mac, it's not /, it's a /, okay? So it will be under /users/username, for example, WASPI if I was holding a Mac, and then /.Jupyter/Jupyter Notebook configure.py. So they should be kind of the same. Fine. So now I need to browse to the file location and open it in a text editor such as Notepad++ or even Notepad, okay, or even Notepad. So let me search for it. Let me go to let me go here. Okay, so this PC. Now let me go to C, and then users, and then WASPI, and then .Jupyter. This is .Jupyter, right? And as you can see here, under .Jupyter, I have Jupyter_notebook_config.py. Can you see it, ya shabab? If one of you at least sees it, please raise your voice so that we can continue.
Yes.
For me, I see.
Very good. Very good. Fine. So now what I will do is the following. I would right click, and then I will say open with. Okay. I don't have Notepad++. Don't open it, of course, using uncheck this. Always use this app to open the .py files. No, you don't want to do that. So uncheck this, and let's check. Well, this is Notepad. Okay, this is Notepad. So let me open Notepad, and then I will say okay. Do you see my screen, ya shabab?
Yes.
Yes. So this is the configuration file. Okay, this is the configuration file. Fine. So now let's continue with the instructions. So now in the instructions it says, search for the following line in the file. The line is basically c.notebookapp.notebook_dir. In fact, what I will do is the following. Let me just copy this part, notebook_dir. Okay, notebook_dir. Control C, and now let me go to Notepad and say search, Control F, find, and then Control V, notebook_dir, and I put here find next. And voila, we have reached the same line. The directory, see, the directory to use for notebooks and kernels. So the default is basically the current. ميوت يا شباب، ميوت. انا انعزت والله، فكرت من وين عم يجي هالصوت. طيب اوكي سو
ايش اخر خطوه سويتها دكتور؟
عيد مره ثانيه.
اقول ايش اخر ايش اخر خطوه سويتها يا دكتور؟
اخر خطوه اني بس فتحت الملف الان ووصلت عند c.notebookapp.notebook_directory equals this. للان ما سويت اي شيء.
طيب تمام.
تمام، وصلت هنا انت.
دحين بدورها يا دكتور.
طيب بس انت دور على notebook_dir اخر كلمه على طول بيجيب لك.
دكتور
ايوه
عادي طبعا باستخدام نوت باد بلس بلس صح؟
it's up to you يعني. هي اي تكست اديتور
تمام.
اي تكست اديتور that doesn't matter. النوت باد موجود على الجميع، عندهم نوت باد. يمكن لازم اشيلها والله النوت باد، بس مش عارف ليش حاطط نوت باد بس. اوكي but anyways any text editor. طيب يا شباب اوكي. طيب الان what does it say? It says here uncomment the line removing the pound sign and replace it by the path of your ICS 104. Okay so uncomment the line. الان نيجي هنا اللاين هذا اوله في comment اللي هي الباوند. We will actually learn that this is how comments are represented in Python. Okay so what we will do is remove. Okay so I have just removed the comment. طيب after I remove the comment, what do I do? After I remove the comment, I replace it with my ICS 104 file, ICS 104 directory, and notice here that I'm doing C colon بدل in backslash. I'm going to replace it with a regular slash. Okay, instead of the backslash, I'm replacing it with a regular slash. So let me go back to my ICS 104. Where is ICS 104? Well, the best thing is to go here. This is ICS 104. This is where I want, you know, my server to start as a root or to land, right? I will click here and I will say Control C. Okay, I will say Control C. Now I go to the notepad and I will come here and I will say Control V. Okay, Control V. Right. Who can remind me now? I need to change something. What do I need to change?
السلاش.
Oops, I did it in the wrong place. صح? Control Z. I did it in notebook password. Where is the directory? I have directory, huh? C notebook directory. So Control V. This is where I want to do it. And as you mentioned, I need to change the backslash to regular slash. So I will do this manually, changing the backslash to a regular slash. Okay? واضح يا شباب؟ This is the most important, and most of the problems, you know, happen when you make a mistake here. Sometimes, for example, forgetting to uncomment the line, keeping the backslash, this might generate different problems. So now we uncommented this, we added the path, and we changed the backslash into a forward slash. Of course, in Mac, you don't have to change anything, because in Mac, the path directory is already using a forward slash. Okay? Fine. Then make sure to use forward slashes in your path and to save the file. Did we save the file? We did not save the file, so if I put X here, it will ask me, do you want to save changes to this file? And then I will say yes. Okay, so now I save the changes. Okay, Shaba? So before I open Anaconda again, let me wait and make sure that everybody, you know, completed this step. Hi, Shaba. If whoever completed this step, raise his hand. Yalla. whoever
دكتور
نعم.
انا وصلت لكل شيء، بس انه بقي لي الملف نفسه، يعني ماني فاهم كيف، يعني لازم اسوي ملف لاي سي اس 104
عشان ما عندك ملف يعني.
اي
طيب ايش رايكم احط لكم الملف انزل لكم الملف على التيمز
تمام.
الان راح اسويها. Okay, so I will say new conversation, first set of lectures. Okay, and then I will say attach, upload from my computer, and ICF4, into lecture slides, instructor, lectures, overview, and then introduction. Upload. Upload file, let's put it under class material. Okay, Shabab. So now you can all download this file and please put it under your ICS 104 file. Okay, please download it, and of course when you download it, it will download maybe under downloads or under some other directory. Just make sure that you copy it to ICS. Okay, Shabab. Any questions so far?
Doctor?
No.
Unfortunately, I have a problem from the start. Maybe after you finish, I can ask you or something. So
after we finish. Okay. Right. Do I have more than one person, saving the file and saving the configuration file and, uploading the lectures file to under ICS 104? Nice, done. I need one or two to say yes, we did it.
Doctor, I
Yes.
did it, but when I opened the Jupyter notebook, it starts from the original homepage.
طيب. Okay. طيب, let me see where it's gonna start with me. Okay. But at least you finished all the steps, huh?
Yes, it's just this last step.
خلاص. So let's go back to the installation. Maybe I didn't put it, but maybe I should copy and paste here. Where is it? Yes, I need to shut down the current Jupyter session we started so that it will be copied. I need to add this step. Okay. Let me add this step. So this is nature. Okay. So shut down the current Jupyter session and restart it so that then it will start. So that okay, under the new line. So let me just say save here. Save. Okay. Let's come now to here. Where is my Jupyter? This is my Jupyter. So let's say quit. Server stopped. Let me close it. And now let me go back here. Okay. Let me go back here. Let me start it again. Jupyter notebook. Okay, start. Bismillah. Oops, it is back. Why is that? So this is the same thing that happened to you, huh?
Yes, it's the same.
Same. Right. Let's see, what did I do wrong? Where is the file? Got Jupyter, Notepad, okay, Control F, _dir. طيب, can you do this? Can you start from the first line instead of maybe it's because of that. Let me just check. Control F. Right, next. Did you see what I did, ya shabab? I basically made sure that it starts from here. Let's see whether it fixes it or not. So save, keep it open, just in case. So let us quit.
Yeah, it's fixed.
Okay. And now go and type Jupyter Notebook again. Okay. Well, this is a very early lesson about indentation in Python. Python is very sensitive to indentation, and inshallah you will know that later. Okay, but alhamdulillah now it works, and as you can see now it has landed under ICS 104. So now if I have all my homeworks, all my lectures, lab tasks, now when I open Jupyter, it will directly come here. I don't have to move around in order to reach the specific directory. So now when I open it like this, now this is open, and now I can basically run and use Python. واضح يا شباب؟
Doctor, I didn't understand well about the file. Did you send a file for us, or should I do a file?
No, I sent it to you under Teams.
I didn't find it.
If you open our team, it's here. It's called 01introduction.ipynd. So
you didn't send it, I think, Doctor.
Now?
You check. You did send it or no?
Yes, I did.
Because I didn't find it yet.
روح الفايلز تلقاها.
Under files صحيح. طلع فوق هنا. When you go to files وبعدين تنزل عند class material. هذا هو.
تمام، الله يعطيك العافية.
طلعته؟
اي طيب بعدها دكتور، يعني لما احمله بعد ايش اسوي بالضبط؟ يعني بعد ما احمل ايش اسوي؟
حطه تحت الاي سي اس 104 دايركتوري اللي انت حابب تكون الروت تبعك. اللي هي هنا.
كيف دكتور معليش؟
يعني هنا مش احنا عملنا هنا we created a folder ICS 104. ايوه فبتفتحه بتحطه جواتها.
تمام.
اوكي.
بس انسخ اللي هو الاسم، يعني اسم الملف صحيح؟
الملف كله، انسخ الملف، خذ الملف كله، مثلا لو كان في داونلودز take it from downloads وجيبه هنا.
تمام.
اوكي؟
تمام.
اوكي يا شباب؟
Can I stop the recording? No.
عيد مرة ثانية.
Can I stop the recording?
Shall we stop the recording? Okay, let me stop the recording, and then we'll take your questions, right? سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك اشهد ان لا اله الا انت استغفرك واتوب اليك.